Hi everyone, we have made it to week 4. We are halfway through our 6-week intense summer school class, and you guys are doing great. I am also 3 weeks away from my very first ever half marathon, and I have been training. I have even been getting up at 5 a.m. to go running, which is something I'd never ever thought I would do. So I hope you guys are making it through the course nicely and still getting time to do fun stuff for you. This week in our lecture, and every week in our lecture, I post a to-do list at the end. So this week we're talking about John Brown, and at the end of the lecture, you'll see a to-do list, and this is all of the assignments that you will need to do. I have switched something around. We are going to annotate a primary source using the SCIMC strategy, which I have outlined and shown you tutorial videos on. So let's actually go find that. This is a thread and a breadcrumb, and you can go all throughout the course by coming back up to this navigational breadcrumb bar. So we're in week 4, John Brown. Happy 4th of July too. I will be offline on Wednesday and I'll be offline on Saturday. So note that I will not be responding to emails on those days. But this week you are going to do a week 4 primary source activity. And the primary source activity, I want you to make sure that you are watching the demonstrative videos because it walks you through this whole SCIMC process, which is summarizing, contextualizing, inferring, and monitoring. And it tells you all about those, and it goes into that analysis of the primary source, which is what we are going to be doing for our primary source research assignment this week. I had used Annotate and Annotate in the past and had luck, but I think they've updated their program or trying to go from a free program to a paid program, which doesn't work for us or for you or for me. So I did some research and I found Crocodile, which actually seems a whole lot easier to use. It's an image annotating program, so you upload your Word document to it and you will be able to respond and comment and annotate using the SCIMC method in Crocodile. It's a free account, it's a free program, and it's really good, hopefully. So I've set up a 4-minute tutorial on how to use Crocodile, and then you will annotate your document and then send me the link. But make sure that you make the link public so I can see and I can make comments on it. But if you have any questions, as always, please feel free to email me. Hopefully I've left detailed or over detailed instructions so you know exactly where to go. But I did want you to know that we are using a different annotating program. I've set up a video for you, and it's really important that you break down the source so you'll be successful on this week's assignment. I've also opened up all of the other courses, the weeks in the course. So I know some of you are going on vacation or trying to work around a work schedule during the summer. So feel free to work ahead should you desire. But I know each week is pretty packed. So hopefully you're able to keep up with that. I've also asked you a question about the pace of the class. Feel free to answer that. And then let's look at our group discussions. Last week's groups discussion went so much better. We had great stuff. In fact, I want to highlight one group from our group discussion last week. Group A. Where's Group A? Oh, and I had to take the groups off. So here's Group A. Yes, they had 11 responses, so people were active in the thread, and Katie was the discussion leader, and Katie had a great strategy. She emailed me and said, I want to post different discussion questions on different days so as to keep the discussion going. I said, that's fantastic. What a great idea. You can pop in there as much as you want, and I think it really helped her discussion question, so that might be a tactic for those of you who are leading discussions this week to go. But I also want to look at the detailed comments they're making. Gerda Lerner has the more compelling evidence. Nancy Cott spoke about this and she talks about this, but she doesn't do this. These aren't just simple yes or no responses. These are getting to in-depth analysis. They're using specific examples. Katie and Robin both do an excellent job of that. Marcella pops into with a quote and pulling it in. I don't want the whole thing full of quotes, but I do want you to summarize, look for the weaknesses and the strengths in that argument. So I want to compliment Group A last week. They did fantastic. Katie was an excellent discussion leader, and there was great responses by Robin and Marcella, so great job. This week the groups are smaller since we've lost some people. There's only going to be 4 discussion groups. The groups will be, there'll be smaller amount of groups, but more people in each group, which I think should help us too in case someone slacks on the holiday week. So let's go back. So I talked about the groups, and then let me talk about the primary source paper. This week is a big assignment for our primary source paper assignment. It is going to ask you to write 5 to 7 pages of in-depth analysis. Every week I try to focus on a primary source assignment where you break it down, and this week we are going to go into the nitty-gritty, and it's kind of a compilation of all that we've done up to this point. You're going to want to look really in depth and try to answer all of these questions if possible about your author, some of which you have already done, but expand upon that. You're going to look really in depth about your audience. Who are they writing for? This was something that a lot of us had a hard time. They're writing a publication in some sense about their lives and about their experience during the gold rush, like Sutter. He's trying to give his story. He's doing this for a reason. He wants to make himself look good in public. So research a little bit more about why he's writing this, where's the document being published, who is the audience, and things like that. This is really going to help you with your overall analysis. Then tell me a little bit more about the content, which you started to do last week, and then dive into how might historians use this source. What could you research about it? What does the document teach us? Don't short shift any of these questions. Really spend some time and you'll get an easy 5 pages. There was a bit of confusion. If you go to the front box of the class, you will see the primary source paper assignment. If you open that, you will have every single primary source assignment that's due. The point of this assignment is to have a research project. You must do research as a college student, and I have broken down the research process into different steps as to make it a semester-long project. You need to use the same source that is assigned that you picked from the San Francisco Museum. That source should be an 8 to 10 page primary source. I know it says 5 to 8 here, but it should be 8 to 10. It should be an 8 to 10 page source on early California history. You must stick with this source for the entire assignment. So you're going to use it for assignment 1 all the way through assignment, I think 8 or 9 is what we have. That way you're showing the research process. And then you want to take that source and do these specific assignments each week for the primary source that you have picked. Your final paper will be based on this one primary source that you picked from the San Francisco Museum website, and your final paper should be around 7 to 9 pages. This is a research paper based on one source that you work with the entire semester. A few of you guys, not too many, like 2 or 3 of you guys got that wrong, so I want to clarify that. And I also want to let you know that the entire assignment is up in its entirety, and it has been since the very first day of class. So I think that's all I wanted to say. I hope you guys have a wonderful, happy, and safe 4th of July, and I'll see you online.